Hey guys, how's everybody doing today? So today I'm really excited, and I will probably talk with my hands a lot, so I apologize up front if it's distracting. But I'm really excited to talk to you guys about 3 components of brand and how you can use them to really tell your story on social media. Now, if you guys know me, my business, JRH Graphics, help businesses tell their story. My focus is really helping small businesses tell their story on social media and getting the widest reach for that. In order to tell that story, you actually need to have a story to tell, and you have to be able to develop that story with your brand. So the first component of brand that is actually, to me, the most important component of brand is you. It's your brand. It's your company. You're developing this company, and you need to tell your story. So what is it that you do? Why are you different from other people out there? Why did you decide that this was an opportunity for you? Why did you go into business? What is it that made you decide to do what you're doing? For me, I like to tell people stories. I like to tell people stories because when I had an unfortunate incident happen to me and I was attacked in Boston, I learned from my experience after that stories are incredibly powerful, and they're amazing at engaging people and getting people to rally around a cause. And stories have emotion, and that emotion connects with people. So when I talk about stories because I know how powerful a story can be. And I believe in the power of stories. So you have to share your story. Why is it that you're doing what you're doing? What made you decide to do that? That is a great opportunity for you to get out there and tell your story and make people identify with it and rally around it and believe in you. So that's the first component of brand. The next component of brand is your competition. Now, you never want to go and say, my competition is awful. I hate them. I'm the best. My competition is awful, terrible. That's not what you want to do. When you're talking about your competition, you want to acknowledge those things that your competition does well, but you want to talk about those things that you do better. So I know my competition is those big social media companies, those companies that can actually put a campaign together for a brand that has 150 locations. And that campaign needs to look alike, it needs to feel right, and it needs to work for all 150 stores. That's not me. That's not what I do. I put together a campaign that works for your store, your individual business. And that campaign is aimed at the people you want to win over, your specific audience. I build campaigns that are custom for each individual business that I work with. When I'm working with larger organizations, I build content calendars that they can customize. I don't build the content for the larger organizations. I build content calendars for them so they can then take the ideas and make them their own. Because I don't like content that feels forced. I like content that feels like it's unique and it belongs to the company, the business, the organization that's putting it out. That's my belief. That's what I do well. If you're looking for a campaign for 150 stores and it needs to look like, feel like, and just be generic, there's other businesses that provide that. So I acknowledge that those businesses are out there. That's not my target. My target is small businesses, local businesses, people that are looking to tell their unique story. That's my target. That's what I'm focusing on. And that really leads into the third part, which is the differentiators. And your differentiators, like I said a little bit before, they have to be targeted towards your audience. Your audience needs to be targeted to a specific thing. So say my audience was Fortune 500 companies with multiple locations. I'm not going to talk about how I can tell your individual stories well. They don't want to hear about that. That's not their focus. But because my audience is small businesses, local businesses, people that are, mom and pop shops that want to tell their unique story because it's different from everything else that's out there, that's my target audience. So I can tell my story the way that I want to tell my story. And that's going to engage my audience because my audience is looking for that. But if my audience isn't looking for what I'm offering, my differentiators aren't going to be landing home. It's not going to help you. So that's why it's really important, especially with your differentiators, to know your audience. Know who you're targeting. Will what you're saying win over that audience? If it's not going to win over that audience, then maybe it's not, you either have to find a different audience a different business or differentiators that make sense for you to do that. Really, the three main components of brand help you weave together a story that you can tell on social media. So your competition and what you do different from them, and those are the differentiators that are going to target your audience. That's a great way for you to tell a winning story on social media. Weave that together, find your winning story, and tell it. Get out there and tell your story. So I hope everybody enjoyed. That was another episode of the Anti-Social Guy's Guide to Social Media, Branding, and Storytelling. And I hope you have a great week. I will see you again next week. Take care.